Hey everyone, what's up? All right, let's get to it. Stanley Cup Finals, Game 5, Edmonton, Florida. Florida leads series 3-1. It's from June 18th, 2024. So yes, I apologize for the date. This should have gone up, Wednesday morning, not Friday morning, but behind the scenes stuff I had to deal with, so I'm a little late. It's also why I'm on the laptop and looking sound crunchy. So, let's move on. Um, Pre-game note. No team down 3-1 in a Stanley Cup final has ever won Game 5 on the road. So, keeping that in mind, no pressure, Edmonton. Just do a thing that no one's ever done before. All right. 15 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first period. It's about 5 minutes in. We get our first power play of the game, which goes to Florida. Um, 2 minutes on that one, but no goals on that one. Or actually, correction. So I have to not read my notes for 2 days. All right, yes. Um, on that power play by Florida, with 14:30 remaining in the first period, Edmonton shorthanded goal, back-to-back games. This one coming from Brown, who was actually pretty instrumental in the other shorthanded goal in Game 4. So, yeah, it's takeaway in neutral zone. Um, Forehand backhand by Bobrovsky on Brown. So 1-0 Edmonton. Um, and a side note too, that is the first time in Stanley Cup final history that um, the first or either the team's first goal in back-to-back games was shorthanded both times from Edmonton. So there you go. I kind of figured it was like when after it happened, I thought about it, and this is actually I had to flip back in my notes. They brought that up way later in the third period. I'm like, I gotta add that in here for the first. Cause, like, what a comment that is scoring shorthanded goals in back-to-back games in the finals. Yeah, it's never happened before. There you go. And with that, Edmonton goes up 1-0, takes the lead. If you know your stats on the hockey, team that scores first generally wins. So it's like 70 something percent of the time. I think that number is even higher in the playoffs, potentially. So anyway, they didn't bring up what the Stanley Cup final number is on that, because I'm sure it's actually probably not as strong in the final. I'd guess, historically. Just shot in the dark. Anyway, we'll never know because they've only been tracking shots for this much time in hockey scene. Anyway, all right. Let's move on before this gets too long again. It actually gets loud. I will apologize for any background noise when they come in here, but I actually got a second of quiet, so let's try and pop this out real quick. All right. With 10 minutes, 56 seconds remain in the first period, Edmonton goes on the power play for 2 minutes. And much like in game four, about a minute into that power play, they'll take a penalty. So we'll go to 4-on-4 for about a minute remaining, or 57 seconds in that power play, or in that situation. We'll play 4-on-4. Just 2 games in a row with that happening. Not that's there's no record of that, I don't think. But just I personally took note of it. Um, anyway, nothing comes from those power plays to 4-on-4. Some opportunities, but no goals. Anyway, first period ends. Right as first period ends, Edmonton goes on another 2-minute power play, so they'll start second basically on the power play. And I do mean start the period because 18:02 remaining in the period. So I think yeah, about a second on that power play. I honestly had to go double check if it was credited as a power play goal or not. I was too busy taking notes. I had to go double check this one, but it was power play goal from Hyman. Technically, it was a Bouchard shot from the point, and patented Bouch bomb. It hits Hyman in front of the net off his leg and bounces it. So Hyman gets credit for the goal, but really Bouchard put the effort in. Uh, Not discrediting Hyman, who had a good screen, good positioning. So good job by both players and the team. Sorry, I don't mean to. I mean, like I'm crapping on Hyman, but yeah, whatever. Being critical of myself, I shouldn't do that. Anyway, 2-0 Edmonton as we continue on in the second period. And with 15 minutes exactly on the clock, 5 minutes in the second, I have another goal from Edmonton. This time from Connor McDavid. Um, Shot from a really tight angle that hits Bobrovsky's skate, like outside the skate, because he was people were saying it reminded them of the Patrick Kane goal in overtime in the finals against Philly. And I was like, yeah, because McDavid shot it from basically the exact same spot on the ice. There's like almost no angle there. The difference is that Bobrovsky was never down in the butterfly. Like he just went off the inside of his far skate, his left skate in this case. Um, yeah. So that was the difference. Like it was basically the same, like really low, hard shot from a crazy angle. It's just it didn't go 5 hole or anything, go onto the pads because there was no butterfly to deal with because Bob was still upright, kind of like he expected McDavid to shoot, like anyone did. And it goes in the net. So there you go. And with that, it is 3-0 Edmonton. Um, like I said, it's still there's still 15 minutes to remain in the second. I think that at one point they during this time period, during one of the commercial breaks, they interviewed Paul Maurice, Florida coach, in case you don't know. Um, and yeah, he said, yeah, there's still plenty of time on the clock. Like he wasn't concerned at all about being down 3-0, just with the amount of time remaining in the game. And hey, you know what? Paul Maurice knows his stuff. I think there's a reason that he's like has a job he had in the finals. Because with 13:07 remains, like about 2 minutes later after this happens, Florida scores a goal from Kachuk. It's on an Edmonton turnover in their own zone, and Kachuk just sniped it top right corner. It's typically that's where you're going to beat Skinner the most, just with a quick release, high glove. Anyway, with that, 3-1 Edmonton. Kachuk gives Florida a little bit of life. And then with 9:58 remaining in the second period, Edmonton goes on a 2-minute power play. Gotta take note of because special teams in this series have been crazy. Was it on that same power play? Yeah, it was. 8:06 remaining in the period. Edmonton, power play goal from Corey Perry, um, who extends his own record of now having scored a goal with 5 different teams in the Stanley Cup final. He already held the record previously with having been the only player that scored a goal for 4 different teams. So, congrats to Corey Perry on that one. A record that will probably never be broken. Probably not in my lifetime. At some point, yes. Who knows? But and the league continues to expand. Sure. Um, it just seems unlikely. That's one of those records that just seems unlikely statistically. So anyway, with that, oh yeah, how we get to that goal though, or Perry's goal to extend his record is Connor McDavid doing his thing. Is kind of what's in my notes. Yeah, he walked past 2 defenders with a nice loose puck deke, and then just Perry had to do was have his stick on the ice, and that's all it was needed. McDavid just bink, bink, and kind of just tap in. I don't think Perry even moved his stick really, but yeah. So yeah, with that, 4-1 Edmonton now. But 14 seconds later, Florida will strike back. Uh, with 7 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Goal from Rodriguez. He just buries it on a rebound of a net front battle. So with that, 4-2 Edmonton. And it's looking like maybe Florida's got some life in them. Then with 6:25 remaining in the second, Edmonton will go up on the power play. And much like earlier in the night, 1 minute and 9 seconds into that power play, they will take a penalty and we'll go to 4-on-4 for about a minute. So it's happened, well, 2 games in a row now, but twice in a row in this game, period back, 2 periods back to back. There's no goals off that, but it does feel like Florida gains some momentum. Because they control the rest of the play of the second period. But they can't score. They can't crack Edmonton's defense or Skinner. And I would say that momentum carries over into the third period. Doesn't always happen in hockey games. A lot of times you'll see a lot of shifts from both teams in between periods. Sometimes it really feels like continuation. It did in this case. Like I said, that 4-on-4, then going to a Florida power play, they didn't score on that, but they started taking control of the game. Just keeping Edmonton hemmed in their own zone and, getting pucks to the net, just not, they weren't going in. So, anyway, going into the third period, as I said, with 15:56 remaining on the clock, so it's about 4 minutes in the third here. All that work from Florida will pay off, and they will finally get to find the back net. With a goal from Ekman Larson. The feed from Kachuk, from behind the net. and Ekman Larson snipes it home, top right. Again, high glove. Um, yep. With that, 4-3, Edmonton. It's a 1-goal game from being tied, and then Florida's a goal from winning the Stanley Cup. So this is what we wanted from this series. Honestly, this game, the whole thing felt like what I think most people expected this whole series to be like was what Game 5 was like. So, with that said, with 13:41 remaining in the third period, um, we got a 4-on-4 from offsetting penalties, two minors, so for 2 minutes, which is honestly the best chance Edmonton has from since their last goal. But Bob Roski has some big saves. I had a big save blocker size, but I know it's just. I think it was it was him or Skinner. I think this game had a blocker save through traffic where they didn't see it. There was like a double screen, just instinctively guessing the shot was coming blocker, so I got it out there and got the save. I think it was Skinner that did that sometime in this third period or in the second. Either way, Bobrovsky had a good save. Notes. Anyway, 7 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the third period. Edmonton will go on a power play for 2 minutes, but they will not score on that power play, so it remains a 1-goal game. And the clock will tick. And with 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the third period, yeah, Florida's going to get Bobrovsky out of net for the extra attacker, which works out really well because right after they do that, they get a stoppage of play and a face-off in Edmonton's zone. Um, and then with 1 minute and 14 seconds, Edmonton hits a post on a clearing attempt on the empty net, which would have probably sealed the game, but it remains a 1-goal game. And then, um, with 17.3 seconds left on the clock, Edmonton does get the empty net goal from Connor McDavid, despite the best efforts of Matthew Braychuk. Sorry, Matthew Chuck. Sorry, there's so many of them. I want to say Keith. That's why I always screw up. It's like, yeah, no, Brady's and Ottawa, Matthews, and Florida. There's so many of them. I think there's a third Kachuk brother somewhere too. Forget. I don't know if he's in the majors yet. But anyway, yeah, that's why it's in the thumbnail. Normally, I wouldn't put something that happened in the last 17 seconds of a 1-goal game in the thumbnail, but hey, you don't know that when you click it. It could have been earlier in the game. Maybe before it had a delayed penalty and the puck took a weird bounce. No, it's too good of a replay angle to not use. Because Kachuk had that initial diving poke check that kept the puck out of the net. Had that resulted somehow in Florida tying that game up, we'd be talking about that play for the next like 2 years. Um, so yeah, no. To describe what happened, in case you didn't see it, that's why you're watching the recap. I don't know why you would do that, but hey, I'm not going to judge my own audience. Do what you want. Um, Yeah, I do say despite Kachuk's best efforts, because he diving poke check to keep it out, and then at least he attempted again to make the save on McDavid's shot. Like he was still there trying to block that shot after making the diving poke check. So I got to commend Kachuk for the effort, gold star effort. But yeah, McDavid puts it home to seal the game and make it a 5-3 Edmonton final. We are going to Game 6. And also, that is back-to-back 4-point games for Connor McDavid with that final goal, which is also a new Stanley Cup final record. I had to make sure. Yeah, the 8 points in 2 games is a record that even Gretzky's not done. So surprisingly, I'm actually surprised that I'm sure Gretzky's record is probably like something like 7 points in 2 games. He's probably right there. But yeah, very surprising that was not already a thing. But hey, congrats to McDavid for a record that I'm sure includes now you, Gretzky, and Lemieux, and you're the only people that will hold those records. I'm kidding, but no, actually, with the points, I think McDavid now total is fourth um, for the most points in a single postseason. Gretzky's in front of him, and then Lemieux, and then Gretzky. And then Gretzky's behind. That's how that works. And the top 5, Gretzky's 3 of those top 5. Um, anyway, yep. Um, And since this is something I've been doing for this series, I'll continue to do it. I'll name an MVP. In this case, I'm going to cheat again and make it a tie between McDavid and Skinner. I thought Skinner had a really great game. McDavid's kind of obvious. Another back-to-back 4-point games at this point. Kind of hard not to name him MVP. So, but we shall see what happens. Game 6 of time I'm recording this is tonight, so I apologize up front for this video being late. It should have been out Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday morning. Yeah, after the game. Usually that's when I record and post these. Is the morning after each game. This one got delayed because behind the scenes stuff. I apologize. So anyway, game 6 is tonight in a couple hours from now, from when you'll see when I'm recording this, when I post it. So we shall see what happens. And of course, I'll be here with a video to discuss it, and we'll talk about some hockey. Um, either depending on what happens, possibly later tonight, or I may hold it over for the morning. We'll see. Anyway, I will see you then. Peace.